I was Betty Friedan's lieutenant in the early days of NOW. And one of my jobs was telling people, don't quit just because Betty yelled at you or hung up on you. Betty was an impossible human being, but she's the one who did it. She's the inspiration. She was all these strategies, the ideas, but she drove us crazy, and a lot of people quit. They couldn't stand her. Betty Friedan was not a good woman, but she was a great woman. I think that's true of a lot of leaders, men and women. I think it takes angry people to make a revolution. Now, Gloria Steinem has disagreed with me. She thinks leaders can be good people, and Gloria is good people. Everyone has to give Betty Friedan credit for sparking our revolution, for strategizing it, for leading NOW, and for creating the language and the concepts that got us started. So many women who were wary of the women's movement got to walk through those doors that we opened, but also so many women made it all the way to the middle, and then they hit that glass ceiling, and they became feminists because they didn't make it. And they realized they needed a movement. And I think today that's still true. People can say, well, you have to be gutsy and you have to speak up for yourself. Yes, that's very true. But you need a movement. You need politics. You need money. You need fighters to work together. And it's amazing how much we can do and how much we can help one another. And then set your goals high, and we're going to succeed. We have to end gender discrimination law by law. The Equal Rights Amendment would clarify this and do it. And we really thought we had it passed. It was passed through Congress, which was a great achievement, and we were 3 states short of ratification. We fought very hard to extend the deadline for ratifying the ERA in the states, and we had marches in Washington, and I'm very proud. I have a medallion here which shows me leading the parade for the ERA extension in 1978 in Washington, and it says, "A Passion for the Possible," July 9th, 1978, and our banner says ERA. All of us experience sexual harassment at the workplace. I had the confidence to treat it as a joke or say, I'm not interested. But a lot of the younger women who were more vulnerable, especially the secretaries, were harassed all the time. We had to really make it a law that it was illegal before people would stop. Of course, sexual harassment is still going on. The NOW Legal Defense and Education Fund and other feminist organizations had created the term sexual harassment, which nobody ever thought about before, as a problem. And we were beginning to get lawsuits that were moving through the courts to oppose sexual harassment. But when Anita Hill in 1991 opposed Clarence Thomas and revealed sexual harassment, that really raised the consciousness of women and men. When I left Carl Bayer & Associates, we had a lot of women account executives, women vice presidents. I was very proud of that. It was just very different. The doors were open. Still, most of the senior jobs in all professions, in law and public relations, medicine, were still held by men. A glass ceiling where women couldn't rise higher was because the men on the top, above the glass ceiling, were just more comfortable with white men like themselves. There were so many sacrifices. Thousands of women lost their jobs because they were active in the women's movement. But they opened the doors for other women who moved through those doors and are moving to the top. It's very exhilarating to march because you're with people who feel the way you do, and the camaraderie and the people on the sidelines who are cheering you on, or even those who oppose you. At that time, it was very effective in proving that we had the numbers. The big march, of course, was August 26, 1970, which was the anniversary of the Women's Suffrage Amendment. And when the women marched throughout the country, especially the big march down Fifth Avenue in New York, this really proved to so many women around the country, you are not alone. We are a movement. Those marches everywhere really turned the tide for us. I remember when I graduated from Barnard, they had a party the night before, and the girls who were engaged got a corsage, and those of us who weren't engaged had a lemon at our place at the table. Those were days when people still thought, well, women were really going to college so that they could meet a man and be capable of supporting him and inspiring him and inspiring their sons. This was still an era of that. This was 1948. When NOW was founded, Betty Friedan wrote the Statement of Purpose of NOW. It's really, I'd say, next to the Feminine Mystique, the most important document that Betty Friedan ever wrote. Our goals were to bring women into the mainstream of society and to help women achieve their capability. When we said we were feminists, what we meant was we believed that women should be judged as individuals. We didn't believe that women should have special privileges. We never said that in NOW. We just believed that people are people, and people are individuals, and don't judge them as half the human race, which is going to be a housewife, and the other half who's going to be a leader and a maker. My husband was a good feminist. He became the chair of the board, the first chair of the board of New York NOW. And when people would say, Shep, what's a doctor like you doing in the women's movement? He said, I want my wife to make more money. We always used to say that feminism really makes the relationship between men and women more romantic. We're partners, and what could be more romantic than being partners? I know a lot of marriages broke up because the men or the women just didn't feel that they could be partners to their spouse. But on the other hand, a lot of marriages were strengthened, and a lot of the new marriages were stronger because of the women's movement. My husband's been dead for 9 years, but I'm still dating, and that's fun. And I want to tell older women there's life at all ages. I think this is very important for women to understand today.